All right, question 101. What positive habits have improved your life over time? Oh, snap. You know what I'm about to say. Do you? Do you know what I'm about to say? What positive habits have improved my life over time? Well, I kind of don't really have too many positive habits. I have ways in which I've trained myself to think, but as far as that, positive habits, that's why I'm doing these little, where are they at? These little things, working out to like, I'm going to do this stuff daily. And yeah, positive habits. I'm thinking about my life, and somehow, some way, I maintain the habit of. Well, at some point, I became a reader, so I ended up spending a lot of hours reading, many days reading, and yeah, I'm kind of an information junkie. Good, bad, who knows, right? And it's like podcast, but I also see my media diet. It's like I'll go on and off stuff. Like I will read like 4 hours a day for like 4 months, and then I like won't touch a book sometimes for the rest of the year. And then say I'm same thing. I might be listening to a podcast every day, two podcasts every day, and then it's just like cold turkey, no podcast, 10 months, lock in. So I'm kind of all over the place, and now am I like, all right, let's manage my time. Let's be able to get some momentum going, and it's working because this morning I woke up and the first thing on my mind was making things happen. So I just did 10, no, I just did my burpees, which is on my list. I did 2 sets of 25. I got another workout later, but I was like, yo, I got to record. And, you see, we're downstairs. We're downstairs right now. Well, the desk is getting packed up today because Philippines is just a few days away. So it's like, oh, I better get after it because I got to pack up the desk and everything. And, what is the big reason of having the desk set up is that I get to record like this. So it's like, let's get into recording right away. No dilly dallying. And we'll do our things later. What positive habits have improved your life over time? Back to that. Ah, well, I could sit here and tell you what habits might be worthwhile to develop, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. If I'm looking at my life, it's like, is there being curious a habit? I just love conversating and I love people, and then I've always just done me in a way, right? Like just gone to have the conversations I want to have, and I've learned a lot through that. And I have a habit of like following the rabbit down the rabbit hole or trying to find a golden thread and then intuitively synchronistically getting led to where I needed to be. But and then my whole thing with college, college is like can often breed in the fraternity circle like just talented alcoholics. And I was looking around, seeing that around me. I was like, I want to graduate with no bad habits. And I actually did that. But I didn't, I think I said this before, but I kind of set the bar low where it's like, man, you should have said like, I want to graduate with a handful of good habits. And now here we are, almost 8 years later being like, oh, about those good habits. Yeah. Yeah. Cause hypnotic rhythm is just, woo, I'm in the washing machine, just getting my cookies tossed, and I'm over that. So as far as what positive habits have improved your life over time, well, I'm grateful that I've read, but at the same time, yee, and then being like social and curious, but I don't know if that's just my personality and necessarily a habit. But what am I focusing on? Oh, positive habits, healthy eating. I did have an autoimmune disorder, and I was able to cure myself all through diet. So I have been able to dial in positive habits in regards to food. And I honestly think that's a big one. Like, because if you can have self control over the food that you eat, I really think you can have self control in other areas of your life. And I think because I already kind of went on that journey, I'm like, yeah, I could do other things, but I do know it's like, it could be a little bit tough. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not discomfortable. So I think food's important. Food and exercise. You heard these things, food, exercise, sleep, lighting. I mean, these are going to be the big, screens and lighting. These are like the big four of health right now. And then I have on my list sitting, just boom, sitting there, statue mode. Just if I want to, play Zen meditation ish games with myself, I can, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to sit, just deal with the discomfort in my body, and yeah. And I really feel like that's strengthening my concentration, right? Plus, it's like posture and stuff. It's like my back has been sore for a week from just this sitting practice of trying to like, open my hips up a little bit to kind of have my bum flat on the ground so I can actually like have a straight spine. So I'm trying to unlock straight spine stuff. And I'm gonna give my boy TJ a shout out right here. And bro, TJ, I'm out here sitting because TJ, he's Indian, and he was like, saw me sitting crisscross applesauce at his house, and he's like, "Ooh, I gotta practice that for my wedding." And I just started laughing. I'm like, this dude out here wants to just be able to sit crisscross because of his Indian wedding, and me, I'm out here just like trying to get a nice straight back and be able to be like a little Zen man. So I don't know why I felt like I needed to share that story, but love you, TJ. Okay, habits that are worth building to improve your life, and these are all things I've done on and off throughout my life, and just now, and I like, let's reinvestigate these. And I think there's something to them, and this whole idea of compounding, I think, is finally hitting me because I felt the contrast of like compounding inaction and have my life feel like it's in like a downwardy spiral toilety sensation. So yeah, filming, I think I've talked about that anytime my life gets off track. Wait, filming, journaling, there's the health sort of thing, diet, exercise, and then your media, what you're putting in, blah blah blah, things like this. And then concentration, do you have a practice, do you have a habit to develop concentration or mindfulness, awareness, whatever that thing is. Journaling, because I just feel like that, just you have all these ideas in your head like taking up your bandwidth, and I feel like you get them out on paper, they stop tormenting you so much. So that, and then yeah. Yeah, I think those are the core what habits improve your life over time. And compounding is real. It's the simple thing done repeatedly that makes it happen. It just makes it happen. And then I'm just, I think I was talking about this a little bit yesterday, but like the whole Elon thing, not to be riding Elon schlong, but he's like, you put the resources, you put the talent on a problem, let him chip at away long enough, and it unlocks itself, right? And then that kind of made me think of like homeboy Elon is literally just thinking of life as a Clash of Clans, map setup. So yeah, all that be happening, right? And so yeah, if your Clash of Clan factories are just like not working, then how are you going to be building, right? If you ain't got no elixir, you ain't got no ore coming in, and then how you expect to like be creating troops and have the rest of your systems running. So I think we all understand systems, right? All of our games, everything we play has systems baked into it. So yeah, work your systems, work your system. Gosh darn it! All right. So that's what I have to say about positive habits to improve your life over time, right? Compounding is real. Well, and also one last thing, like I'm trying to make my habits right now very simple, like not too crazy. Something like simple where honestly, like third graders could do the same thing I'm doing. And it's just because that can I compound this? It's more, that's I guess the game I'm playing. It's like, can I do this for 1 year, 3 years, 10 years and like not even, not even flinch? It's like, oh yeah, that's easy. It's part of me. It's fun. I just do it because I get enjoyment out of it. Like, and I also know like that learning curve in the beginning, and most people are like, don't try to take on like 5 new habits at once. Just start with one, work it for, 21 days. And I think like 66 days, it's like becomes more locked in, and 90, there's all these like benchmarks that scientists have like unlocked. And I think Stephen Kotler might talk about this in his book. He wrote an amazing book called like Being Unstoppable or something like that. I just slaughtered that title, but it was like his flow Bible that he released after. Yeah, good book. After his fiction book. That was, I think, I was just trying to think last night. What was the last fiction book I read? But Kotler put out a cool fiction book I did read. So, all right, enough of that. Enough of that. Compounding, keep the habit small and repetitive. And then there's all these like other things that we wouldn't consider habits that we pick up and do over time. And I think that's mostly with like our communication relation style. So it's like, I mean, my brother has a friend, Bobby, and Bobby was over. Bobby's a really smart guy. One of his best communication traits is this dude loves telling analogies, right? So he really can drive home a point by hammering a good analogies. But when Bobby talks, he's an Indian guy. He's always talking with his hands, right? And he's always like, "Well, you see, well, don't you know how it is?" And it's like after hanging out with him, it was like, "Oh, I'm just like trying to talk with my hands and use more analogies and everything." And I just kind of do that naturally. And I'm like, I just think it's kind of fun. It's like, "Ooh, what is that communication style?" And like an actor, I want to kind of play with it a little bit. So positive habits you improved over time is mimicking people and doing that whole thing positive. I'm going to say yes, because that's how we actually learn. Mimicking. It's like, yeah, you copycat. Yeah. It's like, yeah, at some point you got to copy long enough to then where you could error, remix it. But until then, steal like an artist, copy, blah, 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 however they say it. All right, let's jump to the next question. What false beliefs or assumptions have you shed? Well, let's see. The first thing that came in my mind, the false belief that came to my mind. What false beliefs have you shed? Well, let's just start with this question. Who are you not to be worthy? Because in there's a lot in there. Who are you not to be worthy? And there's only one answer to this question, and it's no one. Because if you kind of follow this thread, it's like, I am worthy because of my effort. And it's like, wait, is a baby born worthy? And you're like, yeah. And it's like, what is different between you and that baby? It's just time, nothing else. So you're still worthy, because when you're an infant, and if you claim babies are worthy, they're just intrinsically worthy, they're valuable, they're enough, they're babies, they're just boom. It's like, you're no different. You're the same. Okay, you got some baggage because you had some experiences that you're still processing, but you're still worthy. So that was a big one. It's like, who are you not to be worthy? When I really started asking that question, it kind of, because I do think there was something, and I think a lot of guys feel this. It's like, my worth is attached to how hard I work or how much money I make or some sort of external thing. And it's like, no, no, no. I'm just worthy because I'm worthy. What false beliefs or assumptions have you made? So there's that. And I think I'm also going to touch on that like trip I was on yesterday, which is, I think, another assumption, and I don't know if it's like something I shed or more of like a discovery aha, where, and let's just say it's morality is not relative. There's an absolute like right or wrong to morality, right? And I feel like unlocking that gave me a lot of peace, because I remember talking to a friend about this at one point. But like, let's say life is a video game. Well, some of us may be scared to kind of start like living full out in the video game because they're like, wait, what are the rules? I don't want to get in trouble. And so I feel like I had a little bit of that. Like some of my, well, this could have just been me trying to philosophize why I'm in action. But yeah, there was that whole loop. And then, like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to, this and whatever, however I was coming. And then when I found out, like, Mark Passio kind of summarized it, and it was based on, his work is based on the Kabbalion, the book, and, and however he learned it. But then he distilled from there, and his training is like, there's only one kind of the morality. If morality is objective, it pretty much breaks down to do not steal. Don't steal life, don't steal property, blah, blah, blah. And if you look into the whole rabbit hole of like the second passport and the lowercase passport and the sovereignty American passport and being the corporation of America and then just America and the free people, it's all built on like self-representation and ownership, which overlaps very heavily with don't steal and these sort of natural law principles, right? So that was kind of, was that assumption to be shed? I think that was something I was like searching for. It's like morality must understand this, and yeah, it's like don't steal, right? And then like the more you deeper you go into that, it's like, wait, there's no way to kind of disprove that. Like, there's no way to disprove that I'm in a game and everyone's an NPC, pretty much, right? Or they're like some, then now we have like the whole soul fam idea, right? Where it's like these are other souls that may not be NPCs that are like real AF to me. And we're like vibing and like growing connections together and like depth and stuff, bro. So, well, what was the dang question? What assumptions have I or beliefs have I shed? Well, I guess getting to the root that like I'm intrinsically worthy, that was huge, because behind that was the belief that was shed, which is like not worthiness. And I do still see the like whole not enoughness thing, right? I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. And I'm even like dealing with that now, where it's like, think about this. This is going to be I got this day 11 at least of doing this. And then there's like 3 other videos. So 2 weeks in of filming videos and nothing's been posted. And is that, and then now in my mind, I'm like, take the video transcript, ChatGPT, give them something more streamlined because no one wants to hear you rant for an hour. And I'm like, do I know that? I don't actually know that. That's my assumption. That's my hypothesis that might be rooted in this not enoughness. And it's like, maybe people do just want to see this rawness, right? And especially as I've been on YouTube, I'm just like, ugh, this whole inauthenticity. And then like my whole, it's like, I kind of see what people are doing. I mean, you're going to the big name YouTubers, you're using ChatGPT to rip the transcript from their video, and then you're probably using ChatGPT to be like, help me write a script that's similar in my own words, right? And then you're just making content doing what they're doing. And it's like, that's all fine and dandy because you're learning the skill set to kind of do the filmmaking sort of shabot, right? And it's like, at least you're trying to make money. And so I guess in like the e-commerce space, there's like the unboxing cinematic film. We're gonna start making money through Amazon affiliate stuff. And then there's like the info product kids where it's just like grab the whiteboard and let's just film. And here's the script, and we got a teleprompter on the camera now, and just like read the script, and we rip the script from Eamon Ghazi or whatever, and this is how we're gonna make it work. Like, how is this? What are you saying, Casey? How does any of this have to do with false beliefs or assumptions you have shed? I was going on some authenticity rant, but that's so far away from the question. So, what is there a belief that I shed that was like, now I'm gonna be authentic? Yeah. Was there a belief like that was like, no, I'm gonna be authentic? What beliefs? Well, I think the biggest one is I'm worthy, and then yet I still see this like not enoughness kind of creep up, and it's not that like I'm not enoughness. It's like, ooh, it's more of like, yeah, there is some insecurity here, and let's work it a little bit, right? I honestly, was also this thing like, let's say I'm having insecurity to like post or whatever, get the feedback. And in a way, I'm still working that insecurity. I'm showing up in front of the camera, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, this thing will work. As my competence grows, my confidence will grow, and this insecurity will work its way out of me, right? That's also a theory I'm holding loosely as well. So, yeah, because I'm like, if I'm worthy, yeah, where are all the problems? And then it's like, why are you being scared, or why do you have insecurities if you're enough, right? And then what is this like whole thing? I mean, I was also thinking there's a friend, and I think I upset her. She's been like trying to break through in reels or whatever, and then I watch her content. I'm like, this is like, in my honest opinion, this is trash, right? Like, what? Where's the hook? Where's this? It's like you haven't taken zero time to like research storytelling, or it's like, what, you put some video, you didn't like remix different clips, you just chopped up one long rant like this, and you just threw transitions in there, and you're like, wow, so cool. And I'm like, not really though. But then again, like, I have to understand, like, I've been studying this film thing and looking at it with a particular eye for a few years now. But it's like I said, all like, what did I say? Maybe I didn't say it the nicest either, but I was just like, this is not engaging pretty much. I think they just like blocked me. So I'm like, whatever. Whatever. Wait, where was I going with that? Let's get back to the questions. I'm like, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. All right. No more humble brags. 103, question 103. How have your values and priorities evolved through your life? How has your values and priorities evolved throughout your life? Well, values, I feel like in my 20s, I've been on this quest to be like, what do I value? What is my code of standards? What is important? And I've been in just like super deep discovery mode in all of that. And I would say priorities is the same thing, right? I'm kind of like in this awakening of like, wait, my biggest priority has to be my dreams and my mental production and myself in a way, right? The best thing you can do for anyone else is work on yourself. Well, it's like, what is that? Where does the rubber meet the road with that? And it's like, do you have a plan towards actualizing your dream? And it's like, do you even know what you want? Do you even know what you're aiming for first, right? And are you content in the system that you're in that's supposedly going to work you towards what you want, right? So, yeah, it's been changing. And just now, am I like, I guess, feel like I'm, boom, taking a stand and being like, these are my priorities because I wrote them down, and my values. It's like, ideally, through answering these questions, my values are arising. The values are arising. So, how have your values and priorities evolved throughout your life? Well, I also feel like you hold an idea, and then through contrast, that the idea gets put under pressure in a way, right? So you're like one of my things that I think has changed is this whole energy of like happy wife, happy life, right? It's like I have my girl, and then I'm doing everything to make her happy and just like solving her problems, and then the relationship deteriorates, and I'm like, ooh, this happy wife, happy life thing that I held like actually has to change. There's got to be something different. I got to be happy first, right? My life if I have a happy life, then I'll have a happy wife, right? Like, wait, maybe that's that. Instead of all the focus on her, can the focus be on myself and my dreams, right? And now I'm also like, you say that and that sounds a little bit narcissistic or selfish, right? And it's like, and I need to like, I'm just gonna put this out there to bake in my subconscious. But where is the line of, let's say, morality, do not steal, and narcissism? Are narcissists stealing something, or are they not, right? What defines a narcissist? It's just this kind of like self-centeredness, but there's a book called The Selfish Gene, and we're all wired to be that. So and yeah, I don't know narcissism, yeah. And I think that's like the problem with that word. It's like it's this blanket like word for like, selfish this. But I maybe, yeah, maybe we just burn that word to the ground, and instead it's like, yeah, like we just have a collective understanding everyone is going to be selfish. The best thing you do for anyone else is work on yourself. Like, that's okay. But it's like, in their selfish pursuits, are they trying to actualize a dream that is of service of the greater whole, right? um and then now they're not a narcissist anymore. I don't know, but also, is that narcissists have to do with like where they're on the line of stealing, right? And so I could see someone being like very narcissistic because it's like they come into your house, they steal from you, and then you call them out on it, and then they like turn around on you, and then they like psyop you to be like, you're stealing from your own self. No, your dog is eating your cash, not me, and how dare you assault me? It's like, that's stealing, right? So where was I going with this? How do your values and priorities evolve throughout your life? And then I started trying to solve, narcissism and morality. But let's come back to the question. How do your values and priorities evolve throughout your life? Well, in my 20s, I'm just trying to figure those out. And just now, am I trying to take a stand? My priorities seem to be my health, the five stats. Can I just build a life around the five stats and then see how that happens, which is time management, my health, my concentration, my creative influence, and my mental production. So those can those be my priorities? Can I build a lifestyle around there? And values, it's like I can't be in a relationship with someone if I don't trust them. So trust is huge in my sphere. And I feel like I know myself better. Like, I've experienced enough where I have preference, where it's like I like these types of people and I like having these types of conversations. And it's like, and I don't necessarily care too much, or it's just like more transactional for these other things, right? So I feel like you get dialed in as you live, right? How have your values and priorities evolved through your life? I think that's really it. I've been in the discovery phase. Now it's like, now we must practice these. Now it's like, can you build a lifestyle where you could do these things for 8 years, easy, not even blinking your eyes? And it's like, ask me in 8 years how that works out. But I do understand that the compound effect is like, whoa. And I think just doing like a power hour, say you do a power hour like 20 days, boom, big win. Then you hit 100 days, boom, big win. Then you hit 1 year, which is like 365 days, boom, big win. Then you hit 1,000 days. That's like pretty much 1,000 days. That's 3 years. So I feel like if you did a power hour for 3 years with that compounding, I guarantee your life is going to be different. And it's like, you take like the American college model and like talented alcoholics and blah. And it's like, what if there's an academy and it's like, we only do one thing here for 3 years. We will hold this being accountable, or we will encourage them to pretty much be on this power hour train. And ideally we want to get it into their bones. And there is a 3-year long program, and all we do is dial in power hours. Like, I really feel like those would be some crazy humans. So, and could it be that simple? All right. Next question. 104. How do you feel? Do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? I don't know why. My nose has been getting so itchy when I'm filming. Let me just like step away and rub it real quick. Maybe I need to talk a little slower, calm down. As I just like took a sip of coffee, I'm like, woo! Let's rock and roll, boys. So maybe you should have done that more exercise before you press record. Jesus, you spaz. You're not talking about the question. You want to go to Neverland and talk about rationality. You crazy, obsessed madman. All right, where are we at? And then I'm curious. Is calling myself a madman being self-deprecating? Am I doing that a lot lately? Am I putting myself down too much? And is that my only route of being funny? Psychoanalysis. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's nuked my own brain. All right, restarted. When do you feel fully aligned? When do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? Hi. Yeah. Life's purpose. Scary. Confusing. Life's purpose. What is your purpose here on this planet? What is your unique purpose? I'm like supposed to be the dude who's like, I'm gonna help you find your purpose, and I'm over here like, what? When do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? I'm like, when I'm balls deep in that. Dang it! My mom's gonna watch that and be like, oh my gosh, or my grandma. Sorry, I'm just being me. I didn't hurt no one. I didn't steal. I ain't apologizing for Jack Wagon. Explicit. Bad boy, talk radio right now. All right. Answer the question, Case. You're trying to avoid it. How do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? Hmm. Well, well, how do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? I don't know what's going through me right now. I'm chasing this sensation of the felt sensation of momentum, right? And in a way, like right now, I'm standing. Like if I was just doing computer stuff, I don't guarantee I would still be standing. I might be like, let me sit down, let me do this. But there's something like I press record, and it's just like we're doing things. I forget about it. I'm just doing my thing. So it's like, is this your purpose? Is recording your purpose? And it's like, I don't. How do you feel fully aligned with your purpose? Well, here's the whole thing. Y'all already heard it now, like many times. Like there was this vision, and it's just like a feeling in a picture, and now it's like I can't let that go. And then it's like, is that my purpose? Probably. So are you working towards it? No. So do you like feel like you're in the toilet downwardly spiraling, chaos descending into, HE double hockey sticks? It's like maybe I was off my purpose, but now I'm pressing record and I'm chasing that sensation of the building of momentum, the felt sensation of experiencing momentum. Like, woo, like, they say like, the wind is at your back or whatever, right? What like some like olden time saying, but it's like, ooh, there's a breeze coming that's gonna give me that little, when I go to dunk this basketball because the wind is blowing so hard, I'll get another 3 inches and I'll finally be able to dunk, right? I feel like that's really what they're trying to get at there, right? It's like you got springs in your shoes. That's the felt sensation of momentum. So when do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? It's like when do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? Well, my answer is like when you're feeling that momentum-y sort of thing, right? And I could easily be like, when I'm filming and when I'm conversating, then I feel fully in alignment with the. But what is the purpose of life, right? Now we could be like, oh my, because I think our purpose is like all like so mumbo jumboed up with like career and this, but it's like someone could argue the purpose of life is to be aware and to breathe. And it's like both these things are automatic, just gonna happen. So just enjoy it, right? Just breathe and just like awareness, bro. So is that the meaning of life? Is that it? You really like you can't turn your purpose off? How do you feel fully aligned with your life's purpose? Well, right now it's like purpose, boom, me. What role do I want to play in this greater game called humanity and society? And it's like, what problems do I see out there? And I'm like, well, education looks kind of garbage right now. So what is that? Oh, let's reform education. No, I'm not a politician. Let's build our way out of this. Let's do something different. Let's set education on fire instead. Because what is education really getting at? Agency. Okay, let's help people develop self-sufficiency and agency and take control of their lives and never use the word education again. And I guess because I've been chugga chugga choo choo chugga chugga choo choo in that sphere for 2 weeks now, I'm feeling like I'm aligned with my purpose and I got momentum. When do you feel fully aligned with your purpose? It's like when you're taking actions on your aims, duh. And at the same time, like I say that's great advice to myself. Yo, when you watch that back, maybe rewind it and listen to that again. Because you need to understand that. Because yesterday I was just like, oh, I don't want to do what I wrote down that I have to do. Yeah, and let me just imagine like way off in the future instead. And it's like, wait. What is going on? That's making it very difficult for you to be present right now. Just in this moment And so how do it's like I'm got to fish in my own brain. My own brain goes just like, woo, let's go swim in the cosmic galaxies of thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. I'm like, woo, way out there. And it's like, then all of a sudden I'm like, uh, frozen in my body, laying, rolling, doing random nonsense. And it's like my brain just like, let's fantasize about this. And I have to be like, dude, come back into the body now. We set a goal and we have to make progress towards it. And it's like, I'm just way out in the cosmic galactic sea, too free to be effed with, right? And it's like, come back now, get in the body and actualize all these fantasies. And I'm like, all right. So that felt sensation of momentum. Yeah, you want that. And how do you get that? Well, you got to do things. You got to behave in alignment towards your aim is how you feel that life's purpose. How do you come to understand your life's purpose? Well, you just follow your passions, right? And it's like, what is the purpose of life? Well, it's pretty much to breathe, to be aware, to enjoy some tasty food, because we all got to eat, to have some water. You need that, and companionship. Food, water, shelter, companionship. You're set. That's what you need. Is that the purpose of life to accumulate those things? No, it's just the purpose of life to be present with those things. So we could go that whole lens, but I do think everyone has a unique purpose or a gift or a reason they came to this planet. It's just this overarching story that like runs in our collective unconscious, and it's kind of a fun story. Eh, and that's why we have like birth charts and Sagittarius and Capricorns, and is it all pointing at that? Is that, yeah, how do you know your life's purpose? Well, you just Google it. Duh. You just Google your birthday and the time you were born. It'll tell you your life's purpose, and then you form a plan around that. You just start moving. I don't know why everyone's complicating it. Just Google it. Google it. I don't even use Google, so I shouldn't tell other people to use Google. I'm on that DuckDuckGo, bro. And now I got Perplexity. I just be on that Perplexity, typing my questions away. All right, next question. 105. What keeps you feeling grounded and humble? Have I answered this question? Don't tell me about this grounded thing. Let me just do a quick check right here. What keeps you humble and grounded? That was question 44. All right, so I got to answer this question super speed. I'll just do it again. Just tap in. But another duplicate. Exposing all the duplicates. Can't wait to release this. Throw so much shade on the creators of these questions. Being like, bro, how did you not proof for duplicates? Who even takes this seriously? No, I'm just being an a-hole. I'm so grateful that these questions exist. All right. What keeps you feeling grounded and humble? Grounded, well, it's like, what does grounded mean, right? I think grounded had to do with like fishing my brain out of that cosmic soup that it likes to just drift off out of and be like, bro, you gotta like do what you're here to do, which is like incarnate this little meat suit and bring your dreams into reality. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. What keeps you grounded? Well, a nice meal, you'll feel grounded. You'll be like, yeah. And my whole thing is like, grounded in what? What is the aim? Grounded in the aim. Can you be grounded in the aim? If you have no aim, what are you grounded in, right? You're just grounded in the breath, grounded in awareness. Is that possible? I don't know. What keeps you feeling grounded and humble? I don't know what these words mean, bro. I've been like, people are like, dude, you need to be grounded. Like, I heard that for a long time. Like, lately, people don't say it because I'm like, I don't know. I'm onto something. What does it mean to feel grounded? What does it mean to be humble? Boom. Like, what is a rock? Just, a rock is just there. A rock just is. And this humble thing. What keeps you feeling humble? Let's go there. Feeling humble. It just happens. It's just like, bop, bop. The universe comes, slaps me up the head a little bit. And it's like, you need to be humble, bro. And I'm like, ooh. And I think also, how do we define humble, right? Because I don't think humble is timid, but humble is, what is humble? If humble is not timid, humble is what? I think humble comes from humanity, meaning this deep sense that perfect is boring. I really think that's what humble means. Humble is that we can actually laugh about life, right? We can just be like, ha ha ha. We can laugh at ourselves. We can laugh at life, because humble is like this, like you just understand that we're not all going to be perfect. And I think it's just taking ownership of that. It's like I sometimes have smelly poops and I got to take ownership of that. And I can't pretend like I don't poop and I'm not, they don't get smelly sometimes. So, uh, I think that's, humble. And I heard this quote one time too. And if you look at it, it's like, where did humble ever get anyone anywhere? Like it doesn't, because we misconstrue humble. And then instead it's like, now we play timid and small and we're like, I'll just let other people just, I'll just watch them from the sidelines because I'm going to be the humble guy. And it's like, I don't know if being humble gets you anywhere. I'd rather like just be like, oh, maximum confidence, maximum arrogance, and then if I fall flat on my face, then I'll call that being humbled. And does that work out? Because you feel like I don't know, because I feel like I've been arrogant before. I've seen other people be arrogant before, and I'm kind of just laugh at them because I'm like, I know everything you're gonna say. You built your whole identity around it. I learned that 4 years ago, and it's kind of like, whatever. It's just a mental model. It's just some glasses I can put on. It's like this dude's obsessed with the glasses, and he's so arrogant that he thinks these are glasses only want to see reality. And just me saying that, it's like, has that been you before? It's like that probably has 100% been me before. And the only reason that you get annoyed by other people like that is because those are past versions of yourself. So back to being humble, can and compassion. But I do think part of it is like, yeah, you have to. It's better to go like over the top and then get course corrected, right? And here's my example: is like, I am the greatest philosopher on the planet. I'm the best philosopher. I am the best. I ranked myself as number one on the totem pole. I am the greatest. And then after me, you have people like Aristotle, and he was weak. And you got what is Seneca. Yeah, yeah. I stand on their shoulders, but really, like I was born great. Totem pole energy. So what am I trying to say? So I thought I was the best philosopher. I'm like, yeah, let me tell the whole world, best philosopher. And I'm gonna keep saying it, keep running that story, keep running that narrative, affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. I'm gonna keep running that until what? Until I hear other people be like, "This is my philosopher friend Case," and then I'm like, "Yeah, it's working. My affirmation is working. The external world is starting to see me how I see myself, the greatest philosopher on the planet." And then I made the video, whatever. I watched it back with my brother, and my life's on fire in the meantime. And then I'm like, "Oh, everything I'm saying, I need to just be speaking to myself." And then that kind of unwind it. It's like, oh, if your life's on fire, could you really be the greatest philosopher ever? And I'm like, oh, there's a point there. So I'm like, what's going on here? It's like, well, you're great at asking questions. You're great at, I guess, yeah, that's asking questions. Thinking about things. You're great at like, you're great. You're great at asking questions. You're great at thinking through things, but you're not the best yet at following through or actually conducting your experiments that may arise from all these hypotheses you develop. So you got to look at that. And ideally, the best philosopher is probably going to be have that science side of philosophy a little bit more dialed than you. Okay, because right now you're like that liberal arts kid, right? No, oh my gosh. So humble. And so that's like my process. How do you keep yourself feeling humble? Well, it's like you don't. You optimize for maximum confidence and maximum positioning, where it's like, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to want to be. You can't put, this is the biggest box I could put myself in, philosopher. And it's bigger than marketing. I'm a philosopher. I'm not a marketer. I'm a philosopher. So you put yourself in the biggest box, and then, you put that box on where it's like, yeah, this is me now. And then the life is going to, and then you're going to be like, whoa, I got lessons to learn if I really want to fully embody this. And I feel like that's the whole grounded, humble thing. Feeling grounded, feeling humble. Yeah. That's my advice. How do you keep yourself feeling humble? You don't. You aim to expand your ego as much as possible to the highest thing. And in the crazy arrogance that you think that you can be that, you just get humbled along the journey of trying to hold that energy, right? Or you realize all the ways that you're not that, and then you fight against it. And it's like, but I will rise. I will rise from the ashes to be that. I will be like the phoenix. I'm the greatest philosopher, and you can kick me down, and I will rise again. So I feel like that is the humble process right there. Shaboom. And how do you feel grounded? Grounded. It's like, wait, I already answered this question. Why am I going on so long again? 44. What did I say then? What did I say now? Is it the same thing? Or am I saying something different? Yo, because I like forget. I just like, Well, I don't even know what I said. I was just standing there being like, and then boom, I was done. I was like, next question. Grounded. You're grounded. You're grounded. You're not going out with your friends because you're grounded. Getting grounded. Why would you want anyone to feel grounded? I was grounded as a teenager. I hated that. So it's like, no more grounding. Welcome to Neverland. Nobody gets grounded. We just go sky high forever. I'm going to hop in my spaceship, get away from the and go and be just what you. All right. You know what I mean? Grounded. What keeps you feeling grounded? And it's like, dude, I am here. I'm this. Grounded. Are you holding space for yourself? I really think that's what it is. Are you being like, turmoily, weird ickies, and then you're just like, it will pass. I am grounded on finishing this task. So, something about that, being present, being in the moment with the task, I think that has to do with being grounded because you're not in the moment with the task. You're likely going to end up tormenting yourself. Where it's like if you're mowing the lawn and then instead of just being like, yeah, look how just sexy it looks, on this side compared to that side. And like, just, man, I love when I get to set my blade different and I do it diagonal and it just looks like a golf course. It's like, can you just be present, so present with that where it's like, yeah, drive this straight line, walk this straight line with this lawnmower in front of me, and that's all I'm doing, and I'm just marveling at how sexy the grass is looking, how nice it is, just how nice. It's like, can you be stuck in that and just be like, ooh, I'm grounded in the fact that this is the task and this is creating beauty and that's it. That's part of it. That's grounded, right? You're grounded in the task. You're just there. You're not. And me, I guess, yeah, this is why people are like, you're ungrounded, because it's like, Casey, do this task. And I'm like, that's boring. No, let's just sit here and have a good time and do this and do that and blue. But simplicity is addressing discomfort. So it's like, is that boring, or are you going to be discomfortable and are you trying to avoid discomfort? So what keeps you feeling grounded? Well, reminding yourself, it's like, boom, let's be present. And I do honestly believe like our bodies are intelligent. So it's like yesterday I was like, you could say I was ungrounded, where it's like, you need to make a video, yeah, and then I'm just like, I don't want to, and then this, and then I was kind of watching my mind, and my mind is like so deep in the future, trying to like fantasize things and like think about design plans for stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to be over there in the future. There's not me here now, and I'm like, why? What is going on to make it so I don't want to be in my body in a way? What is like, ooh, what is the uncomfortability? What is the pain? And how do I alchemize this so, like I can get out of that, right? And I just had to like take ownership of like, whoa, I'm not feeling like and it's like, I'm not feeling grounded. So how do I get grounded back? And I just started shaking. I just started like, "Ooh, okay, this is how you feel. Ooh, let's shake it out. Let's just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out." And maybe for like one song, I was like, all right, let's just shake, 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 shake it, shake it, shake it, shake, 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 shake. And I was like, all right, let's do that. And then I felt better. I felt better. I felt like I had to like, oh, just raise my vibration, whatever this muck is I'm feeling, let's just shake it off. And then that brought me back to like, boof, boof, boof. I'm here in my being present. Because otherwise I was like, way out there, this. And then thinking about doing anything physical that's not just like automatic, right? Like get water, the pet dog. And then it's like, I had to shake it out. Shake, 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 shake it. How do you keep yourself grounded? You got to do some shaking. You got to listen to your body, bro. And I think you got to, it's a whole game of discernment, but I feel like I'm just now learning the game. It's like, okay, wait, where am I going? Where, like, I just want to go on my funnel head energy and be like, woo, just in my inner tube, just surfing philosophical ideas through cosmic rivers. And then my body is just like, the pet dog, scroll on phone. And I'm over here like, yeah, how does this all connect? And then it's like, wait. Nothing is going to get done in this state. I have to, this dude in the life raft, or what? No, he's in an inner tube. The dude in the lazy river of philosophy that's in the timeless eternal, that dude's got to like come back out of the life raft, dry off with his towel, and like sit in my brain and then be like, operate, excavator energy. So that's something about being grounded, right? And humble. Here's my advice on being humble. Forget it. Life will naturally humble you. And I mean, ideally have the reverence and respect for when you're learning a lesson, right? And not just be a complete tool bag about it. But Yeah, set big, wide container of self-identity, and then it's gonna try to humble you, and then just refine, refine, refine. Don't necessarily give up the identity, but you might have to take a little. It's like I'm the best. I still believe I'm the best philosopher. It's just like I'm I'm training to be even better, right? There, and it's like, okay, maybe I'm not the best in the world, but it's like probably top 100, but I'm gonna be training to be number one, because the only thing I'm missing is that good scientific method on my side. And then there's other philosophers being like, bro, that's literally all of philosophy, and if you don't have that figured out, you're in. I know I'm in first grade, right? I'm in first, but I'm gonna rise. All right, next question, 106. How do you nurture self compassion? How do you nurture self compassion? All right. Yeah, I wanted to go on a rant, but I'm not going to do that. How do you nurture self compassion? All right, let's switch it up. Let's get a new camera angle. How do you nurture self compassion? How do you nurture self compassion? Well, all right. What comes to mind? I was like, grace. That was the word that first came to mind. It was like self compassion. I'm like, what is this? How do you define it? What does this mean? It's like grace with yourself, forgiveness. Nah. And then where my mind went, I was like, oh, this is just having awareness to identify when I'm feeling guilt or shame. It's like, oh, felt sensation or guilt or shame. It's like, just be aware of that and just throw the guilt or shame away. It's like, realize that's not needed. Realize that's like in your brain, it's like you're like experiencing guilt or shame, right? And then it's like, whoa, let me bring my awareness there. And then you see it. And then with the awareness there, like a flashlight. And then you see these teenagers with these big bags of salt, like, and there's just this cut, and they're just like pouring salt in the wound. And then I'm just coming there, my awareness, like the police, like, hey, kids with the salt, get out of here. And they're like, ah, and then they run away, right? And so that's self-compassion right there. You use your awareness as a flashlight to spot the graffiti artist of guilt or shame, and then when you find them, you make them run away, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm experiencing that. All right, what level of presence do I need to give this? But also, like, let's not get too lost in the sauce of just self put down, right? Which is this guilt or shame thing, right? And then, we got to come back to, and then running things through the filter of morality. It's like, did I steal anything? No, then I'm good, right? Or it's like, if I did, how can I make it right? So, and I think that's that. That's how you nurture your self compassion. You use your awareness and you point it on stuff in your inner world. That's self compassion. Self compassion. I also feel like, how do you nurture self compassion? This like follow through on the things you said you're going to do, being a man of your word sort of thing. I think that builds trust with yourself. And if you're building trust with yourself, you're building compassion for yourself. So those are some of my thoughts. Those are some of my thoughts on nurturing self compassion. Self compassion. It's not just about your thoughts. And that's the whole guilt or shame thing. I use my awareness to find my thoughts. Okay, what are my behaviors? And what is the quote? What is the quote? Here it comes. The amazing quote is coming. It is, do something today that your future self will thank you for, aka your behaviors. Are your behaviors going to compound into that aim that you're aiming for? And that is also a way to nurture self-love, self-compassion. All right, that was that. All right, let's see what we have here. Next question. Question 107. What spiritual practice enriches your life? Well, I was going to just say some crazy trolling stuff, but I ain't going to do that. What spiritual practice enriches your life? My bro started calling me, so I gotta bang out these questions so we can have a little chat. Me and my bro. What practice enriches your life? What spiritual practice enriches your life? Probably, what is a spiritual practice? And then, like, the first answer that came to my mind, and then I was just like, because I'm in this, like, I'm not being an anti-boy right now, but what spiritual practice enriches your life? The first thing that came to my mind, and then I was like, bro, you cannot say that, but I'm going to say it anyway, is gratitude. The reason I didn't want to say it is because I feel like I'm like one of those manifesting pixie girls or whatever, right? And it's like, just gratitude. Like, I'm just like, just writing down what I'm grateful for. Um, Now over here, like, what spiritual practice enriches your life? Well, gratitude. Yeah, that makes your life really amazing, right? And it's just like the sacred pause. Can you take a moment and be like, marvel at the beauty of this existence that we're existing in? That's really gratitude, right? And like, I'm no longer like some gratitude journaling type cat where it's like, look at this page and I'm going to fill it up with all the things I'm grateful for. Like, I done that. I put in probably hundreds of pages of things I'm grateful for. Just boom, list, just fill the whole page. Everything I'm grateful for. Grateful for my shoelaces because they keep my shoes on. You name it. Went crazy grateful. Being like, yeah, that's pretty kind of wild. And I'm marveling at that. And this makes my life so much easier because if I didn't have these shoelaces and my foot was coming out of the heel, I'd be like, ah! So I'm grateful that I'm not like, and I just don't even have to think about it. So sometimes we're not grateful for things until we have to think about it. It's like, you don't know what you got till it's gone. So, what spiritual practices enrich your life? Gratitude is the big one. I mean, mm, what's coming to my mind is kind of how I'm orienting my life is this word Shaktipa. Shaktipa is pretty much translates to energy transference, and I'm hunting for that. How do you get the Shaktipa? There's people that are wiser than me that can endow me with wisdom, knowledge, energy, download things into me. And I believe that can happen through Shaktipa. And the way to do that, to achieve that spiritual practice, to get to be open to receive the energy transference is it's a dance with presence. It's a dance into the unknown. And that's it's all, and at some point, silence takes over and just and just boom downloads you up. And yeah, it's a game, it's a dance, it's a flirty sort of whoa, and it can happen with anyone anytime. You got to be ready for it. And that's really presence, right? What's behind that is presence. And usually the Shaktipa comes through, it's like kind of this intense eye contact, right? So that's like right now my favorite spiritual practice is eye contact. And it's honestly the whole eye contact thing and just playing with that is really interesting because it's like sometimes I'll have really like darty eyes when I'm like in my head, walking around the mall. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, make eye contact, look away really quick. And then other times I'm like catching myself. It's like you just made eye contact with the person and looked away. It's like, why? Are you intimidated by them? What's going on? This, that, whatever. Like, oh, I just want to be respectful. It's like, well, you're acting timid, not respectful. And it's like a respectful person. Boom, death glare. What's up? How's it going? Head nod. Like, yeah, I acknowledge your existence. Like that's probably more respectful than, oh my god, so pretty. Spiritual practice that enriches your life, eye contact. So anyways, yeah, so then I'll be like, oh, you were timid AF with that eye contact there. And then moving forward, it's like, how do I now? I'm like, oh, now I'm in a game right now. It's like, all right, you don't need to like look at everyone who walks by you now, like boom, 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 let me just beam you down like Homelander. No, it's just like, but it's like, ooh, what is this? So the eye contact game, the gratitude game. And honestly, like I'm gonna say this in a way, I believe women are the pinnacle of beauty. There's a gorgeous woman. There's like that is the sexiest thing nature has, and then nature is very like the second best. But women are like nature, so they're like the pinnacle of beauty. And so when you see a woman marveling at nature or marveling at beauty, that's like that just warms my heart, right? Watching like it's just a yeah, watching a girl and be like, "Oh my gosh, this flower is just like so perfect." And then like she touches it so softly, like something for me, it's like, oh, just instant gratitude, instant melting of like, wow, why is this so cool, right? And it's like anytime you hear a girl be like, "That's just so beautiful," and she like truly means it, and you could feel it in her heart, and she's just like overwhelming with like awe. There's nothing more dope than that. And so, how is that a spiritual in practice? That's the gratitude thing. Me watching a woman marvel in gratitude and awe, that's like, whoa, whoa. And I think this is why men might be wired to be providers because it's like, whoa, I watched her have that experience and I could do things to provide her that experience. Okay, I'm going to get to work right now to serve my queen because watching her have those experiences is so cool. And yeah, spiritual practices that enrich your life. Shaktipan. How do you be present with people? How do you actively listen? How do you get your brain to just be like, pew, and just be like, I am, I am a vessel that will mirror you. I don't know what is that. Do I even do that? No, I probably don't even do that. So what am I saying? What spiritual practice enrich your life? Well, intense eye contact, Shaktipat from the right. It's like you got to know the vibe, right? You got to know the vibe. Everyone has something to teach you. There's a conversation, just me and any random person can find interest and have, but it takes some searching. And then even once we find that searching, there's no guarantee that, we're going to be able to transfer each other wisdom, right? Because there's some loading bars and some other things, and what do you want to learn, and blah, 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 blah. How vulnerable and who's asking. And there's a lot that goes into this. So my spiritual practice is ask a lot of questions, be grateful, marvel at women being grateful, and be present with your eyes. Eyes are the window to the soul. So just be like, woo, what is that whole realm? And what enrich your life? Mushrooms, I would recommend. It's not for everyone though, right? Like, if you're called to it, go for it. If you're like, I'm terrified and my friends are going to force me, and then it's like, maybe not. And then it's like, can't be said enough, but set and setting is so huge, right? And I would recommend all psychedelics. Is like, don't take them at raves. That's the psyop. Raves are a psyop. Stop taking psychedelics at raves. If you do, just microdose them. It's like, bro, you're gonna. If I go out my backyard right now and I took some mushrooms and I just roll in the grass all day, and especially if I have some friends around and that's all we do, we're gonna go way deeper than if we're just zonked at a rave, just doing like zombie head banging with like, I don't just a monkey clapping cymbals in my brain. It's just like that's drugs and raves. You're gonna go. No, there could be more than that. I'm trolling a little bit, but you're going to have just way more therapeutic boom, that life enrichment when you're out in nature with loved ones and just doing the day-to-day stuff in the home like that. Like MDMA, like ideally the first time I can't change anyone. So what am I saying? What I want to do, what I'm craving. Let's get back to this. I would love to do MDMA with some little boo thing at the house. That sounds amazing, right? But I ain't got no boo thing and I ain't got no MDMA. And I'm not in a country where that's legal. So that dream is being delayed. But that's what I would want to do. I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's go to the rave, get drunk, or let's do drugs at a rave. It's like, can we just do this in the house, put on a chill playlist, cuddle, stretch, make love? Like that's what sounds way better than. So spiritual practices, if you're going to dabble with psychedelics, one, come correct. These things demand reverence, and I don't know if you got learned that the hard way, but I had to. But yeah, they can very much enrich your life, but I would say it's not for everyone. You have to be called into this, right? And I'm not on any pharmaceutical whatever, so I would also be like, I can't be like, check with your doctor if you're taking, what is it called? If you're taking your antidepressants, if shrooms are good. Like, nah. I don't have the licensings to tell you what to do with that, right? But yeah, so what am I saying? Not recommending nothing. This is not financial advice. Just like eat mushrooms in your backyard, but it's not financial advice, right? Make sure it's illegal. Go to Oregon and do it. Do it in your backyard. Don't do it at a rave. Yeah. Ugh. Well, what spiritual practice enrich your life? What else? Concentration. Just boom, sitting there like, that's good for you for some reason. What does spiritual practice even mean? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I covered some of them. Psychedelics, some gratitude, some eye contact. I mean, which is just presence, which is why, sitting or some concentration practice or mindfulness. I mean, all this stuff could help you just be more present. And I think how do you know your like level of presence? It's like, honestly, and it changes because, the person has to also get you excited. But depending on who you're with, yeah, that's all right. My measurement for presence is like, am I with someone and they're talking? Can I actively listen without too much mental chatter? Or is the mental chatter easy to just be like, be present with them? And so that's kind of how I gauge it. And this is kind of why, like, it's like, oh, I've noticed like lately, oh, my friends call me and I just want to be like, I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm struggling with this and this. And it's like, whoa, bro, whoa, are you being present with them? Or am I too busy to be like, hear me? So that's a whole game of discernment, right? And it's like, oh, if I'm being like, hear me, and then it's like, how do I solve that? Maybe I just need to go crazy and be like, hear me, and just actually be like, here's my word vomit, and then now I could be like, whoa, thanks, bro. All right, can I be present for you? What's going on with you, right? And yeah, so that's question 107. What spiritual practice enrich your life? Gratitude, some sort of concentration, present practice, mindfulness, whatever you hear. And I'm really kind of catering that as my talk on like Shaktipa, right? That's like you're sharpening whatever you got to sharpen to be able to pull in those experiences of Shaktipa, where it's like synchro destiny, like, whoa, we like melted time a little bit there. And, everything seems to make sense and is cosmically in alignment, and determinism might be real and might be kind of fun. So those experiences, I mean, psychedelics can be fun, but and we could go deeper in that, but it's not for everyone. And set and setting is huge, and just be very intentional. Like, honestly, like, I feel like most people are just like, yeah, woo, but it's like, no, what would be the ideal situation for you, right? Like, and for me, and like how they're doing this in the 60s, it was like, bro, they were in California, nice weather, by a pool, taking LSD, listening to music. They're just having a swim and, laying naked on beach chairs, right? They weren't like, excision, excision. No, they were just like chilling on a Sunday, right? With some good tunes. So, like, let's get back to that. Setting settings. And then, yeah, for yourself is like, or, walk up a river on some cactus. So, all right. Next question before I no, I loop on something. 108. How do you manage difficult emotions like anger, fear, or anxiety? How do you manage difficult emotions like anger, fear, or anxiety? Well, let me just hop on my high horse here and just tell you how to live your life, because I clearly have these things so dialed in. No, I'm just joking. This is still emerging through me. And emotions, anger, fear, anxiety. Well, let's just chunk it down. I'm gonna preface everything I'm about to say to this answer. It's like I'm deeply in the process of confronting these things myself. So how do I manage it? I'm in kindergarten, so with a grain of salt, everything that's about to come in my mouth. This is the perspectives of if someone was in kindergarten, how they would answer this. Anxiety. You likely have anxiety because wherever your aim is too vague, and you need to chunk it down. That's, I think, and yeah, if you this past 2 weeks, that's been my process. Oh, I have dream, which is really just a feeling and an image. And how do I chunk that down and then decide? Because you could take this grand, I think, education. Yeah, what is everything that fits into education? Then even just taking John Taylor de Lagado's big 14 on the things that elite universities take. There's boom, list of 14. Now it's like, well, one do I start with? And then on top of that, it's like more than just John. So it's like quickly you have a spider web where it's like education, agency, self sufficiency is in the center. And then all of a sudden the web becomes like 40, 50 things. And it's like, I chunked it and now I'm overwhelmed by my chunks. And now it's like, yeah, how do you pick one of those chunks and be like, we're going to start here? And there's, yeah, there's no way to do it wrong, but I do feel like we get anxious, or me. I've always been like, I don't have anxiety. I don't know. And now I'm like, dude, you might be debatably the most anxious being on the planet. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that badge. Anti-anxiety club, the anti-anxious anxious social club. It's on the back of my sweatshirt. You want it? And just, all right. What? Okay, chunk your things down. Clear your aim up. I feel like vagueness, you got to have a clear aim, clear, define. You know the inputs to get you to the output. And if the output is just some airy fairy feeling, that's valid. I'm not trying to disvalidate it by calling it airy and fairy. It's just sometimes fun to say those words back to back. But that's valid. It's just you're going to have anxiousness on how to get there until you have a clean plan. And I'm not going to lie, like, I got a clean plan. I'm the next 90 days. It's like ideally I know what I'm doing, and I'd be lying to you if it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. Am I taking the right route? And the doubt thing, right? So I don't know how to deal with that. But I feel like anxious, and that's just from this flow chart thing. It's like when the challenge is too great, we become anxious. So how do you make the challenge not so great? And that's like if the challenge is very vague, then that's very challenging, right? So how do you clean it up and make it not so? How do you make that not so libre, right? Not I meant horrible joke. Play on Nacho Libre. What? They got it, Case. They got. Why do you have to? Jesus. All right. How do you manage anger or fear? We talked about anxiety. I'm learning this anxiety thing. It's like clouds, indecision. And it's like, okay, chunk it down because you're living in the future, trying to solve the future, but I'm not being like concrete with like, what behaviors can I take to move the needle, right? And then sometimes it's like, I just got to put myself under tension of this experiment just because, fall in love with the process. So something like that to deal with anxiety, and then fear. What is fear? FEAR. What is it? False illusions appearing real. And fear can only exist in the future because you can't be scared to the past. So, ah, I don't. How do I manage that? I don't know. I feel like in some regards, fear is still controlling my life, and I'm questioning. If you're in like survival mode, like I'm in survival mode, is that wired in fear, right? And it's like, can we actually ever escape that, or no? And I think it's like we might have to have something to run towards. Like thriving looks like that. This is my aim. I'm running towards that, and we're also running away from something. And so maybe we need both. We need something to be optimistic about and something where it's like, I never want to experience that ever again. Right. And then that seems to be like the theme where it's like, how does my subconscious be like, inaction leads to more pain than taking action? Running away from something, pain, and running towards something, pleasure, but not necessarily pleasure. Because lately in my speech patterns, I've been associating pleasure with instant gratification. And no, we want fulfillment. We want long lasting happiness, not just pleasure. Yeah. Woo. So fear only exists in the future, and I think that's that whole thing I was talking about. Ground yourself in the present moment. Come back. And but also like take this with a grain of salt because I'm still like controlled by fear in some regard. It's like, okay, you this video, right? I'm gonna have a bunch of videos that haven't been posted yet. Why haven't they been posted? And it's like, because I'm scared of what? Scared that people are gonna say nasty things in the comments. Like, what am I scared about? They're gonna be like, this guy's just nuts. Let's put him put him on Guantanamo. Huh? I'm gonna go to Auschwitz. What? I don't even know these. It's just some weird, just history words coming to me. I don't know what I'm scared. It's like now you look deeper into it, and kind of like the first thing I asked my brother was like, "Was that cringe? Was that embarrassing when you watched my video?" He's like, "Who cares?" And I don't know why I care. I don't know why other people perceiving me in a negative light is like, short circuit, die, like not take any action in the moment. Just now you're just like surfing, scrolling, and it's like, whoa, how do you deal with fear? I don't know. You just keep taking action. Keep just chug along, chug along, chug along, chug along. Competence, raise your competence. I don't got an answer for that. I don't, this relationship we have with fear is like an interesting one. And I don't know how I manage my fear. I know it's better when you're with people where it's like, say you go cliff jumping. It's like, dang it. All my friends jumped. I got to freaking jump, right? Or it's like I'm older brother energy. It's like, well, I'm going cliff jumping with my younger brothers, right? And we're all terrified, right? And I'm like, well, I'm the oldest, so it's on me to kind of be like, woo, let's go, let's make it happen. So socially, sometimes it's just like you got to face off with it. Look at the facts and do the math, right? That because I also think we just like fear, ooh, big scary story, and that's like really all fear is. It's just like probably like 10 inner children stacked on top of each other's shoulders, and then they put on like a bed sheet over all of them, and then they pretend to be a ghost, and then they're just like in your mind like telling some crazy story about why you shouldn't take action. That's pretty much fear. And how do you deal with that? It's like, I don't know if the answer is just like kick the ghost, because it's like, are you just kicking your own inner children? But I so I don't know if that analogy works, but I do know there's like at some point you got to face off with it. So maybe it's like you see them as a ghost and instead you recruit them towards your aim, and you try to pitch them instead on the best story of like, you know, how dope it's going to be. And I think, all right, how do I manage fear? Well, the mantra lately is to help with this, with the anxiety thing too, is one, perfect is boring. That's the mantra. Perfect is boring. So whatever, jump in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Next with fear. Oh, geez, did I lose it? Perfect is boring. It came back. All right, and the next mantra is rejection is better than regret. Right? Would you rather be like, put your head on the pillow? It's like, at least I asked for a number. Sucks she has a boyfriend because she was gorgeous, and we would have had a great time together. But whatever. At least I asked, and not I'm not sitting here in my bed wondering like, she was probably single and she could be cuddling me right now. It's like, ugh. At least you have the clarity, right? So that's, you know, I guess rejection is better than regret. That is one of my mantras. And you can't think like the fear thing. Like I said, it's kind of like this ghosty story that's just like, your brain starts. The thinker thinks to prove or prove. So you like, oh, body's like, duh, I don't want to do that, and then your brain just like immediately deploys itself to tell you like a crazy story on like why that's right. Yeah, don't do that because you need to stay safe and just keep your homeostasis. And it's like, duh, but everything I want is over there. And so it's like you got to like feel all of these things happening live time, and then you got to be like, rejection is better than regret, and just boom, walk over there. Hey, what's up, baby? Right? Like it's got to be like that. That's but then again, like I, I'm. This is really advice to myself because I'm in kindergarten with all this stuff. Like very much so, fear has a grip on me, and I'm trying to address that. So that's that. And then how do you manage anger? Anger. Well, one, it's like catch yourself. So my thing with anger is like, and I told this to my mom, it's like, I am red right now. I am red. Like I'll acknowledge I'm angry. And then even like coming down, giving myself space, trying to think about it, seeing myself on all the compassion all that stuff. And then I'm like, I'm orange. I'm still orange. And then even like sometimes yellow, it's like, I'm still simmering down. Right. So as time has gone on, I've kind of been like, how much I spike, right? And I call this red, orange, yellow, and then it's like, okay, can I get back to like neutral or like white or whatever? So it's usually I need to give myself space. And anger, I don't necessarily think there's two types of anger. There's one, it's like, boom, I'm angry because I'm setting a boundary and I'm holding it firm and like I'm going to defend this territory or my family and I'm going to defend them, and boom, my safety is on the line. I'm willing to deploy my savage animal self to protect this territory, right? I think there's that, which is like, noble anger or whatever. You could see how it could go there. And that may not be the right word for it. But the other version is like, someone is like triggering me. They're pushing my buttons. They're touching my insecurity. And then now I'm like, I get angry at them because it's like, their character attack is working pretty much, right? And I'm triggered by those insecurities. And then it's like if you reveal to that person, it's like, ooh, we can get to them like this. Then that's a whole other like, how do we sort that anger, right? And then there's like something happens, you try to play the cool guy and you're angry inside, and then it just bakes and bakes and bakes and it ferments and it ferments, and then when it comes out, it's like, "Ugh," and you're like, holy cow, I can't keep bottling stuff in and having these wild, crazy blow ups. So anger, how do you manage anger? Well, those are the three buckets of anger that just came right to the dome. I think the territorial thing is cool. The insecurity thing, it's like, how do I just like look at that, laugh at that? And then two, the other part of like, this attempting to let things pass through you and pretend like it doesn't affect you, but it does affect you. And then you get angry. Like, how do I how do I manage that? How do I honor that? How do I be like, yeah, I'm triggered. I'm angry, and I need to talk about this, or like, nah, yeah. Expression. What is the correct form of expression? Yeah. And it's like, go lift heavy things, go play basketball and, go hard in the paint. Like, I'm not sure. Not sure. Those are just my thoughts on it, right? And how I'm dealing with it. All right, let's jump to the next question. We're on 109. 109. How do you cultivate gratitude and joy daily? How do you cultivate gratitude and joy daily? Well, whew, you say like, oh, gratitude is like my spiritual practice. How do you cultivate that? Well, here's my little answer. Awareness. You're just aware of stuff. And then you're aware of like contrasts and past experiences where it wasn't always this nice. And you're like, wow, I'm grateful for that. So, and I do think it's like, every morning, can you kind of go through your mind of like, whoa, like at least it's like, oh, my eyes open. Are you waking up being like, wow, my eyes open, I'm excited for the day? Or you're like, oh, I'm alive, that's something to be grateful for. You wake up and you're like, damn it. I wish I never woke up. Like, yeah, how do we do it? And then there's like that place in the middle of like, let me just snooze and I don't want to deal with the day and so how do you, and it's like, what, just journal about it, just write down all the things you're grateful for and all the things that you just enjoy doing, and that's how you cultivate it daily. It's like, I don't know about that. I don't know. What do you do? How do you cultivate it? Well, my life, joy, gratitude. Well, I'm just kind of been, I think do the things that you said you're going to do, and it makes it easier to find joy. And well, because it's like I feel like I could be grateful for myself that these last 2 weeks I followed through on what I need to follow through on. And I also feel like there's a sense of joy that comes with that. How do you cultivate it? Well, joy. I'm like, do things that you love, duh, with people that you love, duh. And I mean, be around other people who are admiring the beauty around them. And these are all ways to cultivate joy. And then just see how like being grateful is it just feels better. It's just better, right? It feels better. It leads to better results. And it's more fun to be around. So, when you can't generate it yourself, when it's like struggling to find gratitude and joy, it's like, can I go hang out with other people who are able to tap into that, right? And maybe that will rub off on me. Or is there something that I said that I want to do that I'm not doing, and is that what's kind of pulling me away? And then I also want to remind people right here, how do you cultivate it? Well, a reminder: comparison is the thief of joy, right? So can you just be more fully present with what you're doing and that whole shabot? And gratitude, it's like, yeah, you could. And that's kind of how I started in the beginning. And now it's a little bit more automatic, but I would literally write pages of what I'm grateful for, right? And even like I kind of had a weird fun game of like, it's kind of more fun to like, what is like the smallest little thing, like, oh, my shoelaces, right? Oh, I'm grateful for that ladybug landing on me yesterday, right? Like sometimes these little things, I was writing about that because I feel like people are like grateful for I'm grateful for my dog, my family, the fact that I ate. And I'm like, nah, let's challenge myself. What are some like weird stuff I'm grateful for, right? That my life would be like, nah, it would annoy me without that. And then make that list. So how you cultivate it? Yeah, you could journal about it. But honestly, I feel like watching other people marvel at their gratitude is that. And I also think manners, right? Like, are you trained to be like, thank you so much, hey, I appreciate that, hey, excuse me. I think manners also kind of, it's a reflection of that gratitude sort of thing. Please, thank you, this. Manners show that. And then also like there's reciprocity, right? In this whole like karma and relationships, are you paying attention? Are you feeling all these things? And are you like watering them according to how your intuition is encouraging you to water them? Because I believe all of these things cultivate more joy and gratitude. So that was question 109, my answer right there. Let's jump to the next one. 110. What self-limiting patterns or behaviors have you overcome? This is one of those another similar ones, right? Patterns, behaviors, overcome. So, this one time I stopped eating sugar. What do I want to say with this? I'm in the process. I'm in the process of overcoming patterns right now, and it says behavior. Keyword here, behavior. So, and I want to build good behaviors. So that's where I'm at right now. So, what self-limiting patterns of behavior have you overcome? Well, I think I'm overcoming the biggest one, which is the pursuit of my dream through daily action, right? Like, how do you get on that path? I know I'm not like, what have I overcome? What, did I, if you're in like a bad pattern of behavior, to overcome it, it's like often just move environments, right? Like there's usually stagnation, and I do believe that like certain locations, there's a memory there, right? It's like, oh, every time I'm on this porch, I go to smoke. So it's like you're gonna stand on the porch, you might just be like, oh, I want to smoke, right? But if you kind of shuffle the deck of cards, you're in new locations without that baked in kind of memory, then I do believe that can help you overcome challenging behaviors and stuff. But I guess right now where I'm at is like it's the building phase. I got to build good behaviors, right? And what am I, the self-limiting pattern that I'm overcoming is, I guess the one that's approaching is this like, oh, I don't want to post, or if I post, how does it be so like over the top professional or whatever story I'm telling myself, right? When it's really like you got to make a YouTube account and you got to just put the video on there and then you press publish. Like it's simple. Let's go back to simple. You're trying to complex it as a way to soothe some sort of pain instead of just dealing with the discomfort of like, and it's really just the unknown. People could be like, this video is amazing, I love your authenticity. And some people like, put this dude in a cuckoo nest, right? So that's kind of, yeah, it's, I can't think back too much because I'm just kind of present with like, how am I going to overcome this limiting pattern of like, fear to post and be seen. But it's all I ever wanted. And it's like, why is that so energetically charged? Can it just be like, I just stand at my desk, I press record, whatever. Life's just happening and it's fun and I'm enjoying it. And then this is my work. And this is, And I just said that's what my work's going to be. I just want to talk and philosophize in front of my camera and just be paid for that. And it's like, all right, well, how does that start? Well, it starts with me talking in front of my camera, and then it's like the paid for that. That's like, let's let the universe handle that. So where am I going with those? Well, you got to post. You got to post, and behaviors or judgments you've overcome. Well, like this smoking thing, on and off smoking and stuff like that, and I've like overcome that mostly by like deciding and then changing locations. And it's like, while I'm here, I'm not going to do this activity. And I'm trying to think, what else have I overcome? I don't know. That's it. Well, I think of like behaviors I've overcome. I think my autoimmune disorder and, committing to an elimination and, different sort of diet and way of eating. What overcame that? Well, it was really pain. It's like, if I don't change and I was balding, it's like, I'm going to lose all my hair. That's painful. So I feel like it just happens. And this is like the whole thing of like, what a lot of people, for them to change, they have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then they change. So I don't know what it's going to take to get you there, but once you're there, then you can overcome your behaviors a little bit more easier. And if you change your environment, that might help as well. So that is what limiting patterns or behavior have I overcome. I just need to list them, I guess. And I'm over here doing some other stuff, but self-limiting patterns or behaviors, it doesn't ask how, it just says what self-limiting patterns or behaviors have you overcome. And I guess that's why I said I'm in it right now. The behavior that I want to overcome is this like inaction towards my goal. And the behavior is being a talker, not a doer. It's like, can I be a doer, not so much a talker? And I'm in that process now. So that's why I'm kind of like, how do I talk about this? The limiting pattern of like fear of judgment and all these things, and I'm facing off with it, and action on your goals and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I'm overcoming those things now. And how am I doing it? I have a little checklist that I print off to do daily. And that's kind of where I'm starting. And I made it simple and easy. And so it just gets done, and I can be like, yeah, woo, momentum. So that's how I'm dealing with them. All right, last question of the day. 111, how do you handle guilt, shame, and self-judgment? Well, you know where I'm going to go with this. Guilt and shame is a cult. It's the biggest cult on the planet, and it needs to go. It needs to go in the toilet. We don't need guilt or shame. Our awareness is enough, as long as we are also bound to objective morality, meaning do not steal, right? So if you didn't steal anything, there's really nothing to be guilty or shameful for. And then also pay attention to speech patterns, right? Are you using I statements, or are you using you statements, right? If it's like I feel this, I feel that, versus you did this, you did that, that's more attacking, right? So you gotta bake all that in, right? But you gotta really go on that trip yourself, because I've talked to other people about this, and they're like, they will start fighting for guilt or shame, and it's like, now I'm gonna I don't want to argue with you. Okay, if you want to like be like, God fearing is good, and I'm like, this sounds like you don't have your morality straight, right? They're like, well, guilt and shame can be good. See, and I have a different experience, because when I joined my fraternity was ran on pretty much shaming people, right? And I don't think it worked. I think it actually destroyed men instead of built men. So publicly shaming and stuff like that. Now it's like, I don't know if that's actually the way. And then also it's like, well, how much do we publicly shame and guilt ourselves? And is that the way, or does that just slowly tear us down and make us feel like poo, right? And then this whole idea of like, now I feel not enough and I feel unworthy, because it's like I'm just living in this cloud of guilt or shame, right? It's just like, nah. So how do you handle it? It's like, boom, you have the awareness, you catch it. Like I said, guilt and shame are just like a bunch of graffiti artists in your brain pouring salt in your wounds, right? And it's just like, just bring the awareness there and be like, hey, don't put salt in that. We're trying to heal this up. And that's just making it worse, right? And just let it be. Let it be. But also connecting to our morality. And it's like, wait, did I steal anything? No. So should I be guilty or shameful? No, right? And now it's like, oh, well, I said this thing and I hurt this person's feelings, right? And it's like, how do we make peace with that, right? And I do think there's like reflecting, and it's like, is there a softer way I could deliver that? Is there this? Is there that? And it's also like, is there anything I need to apologize about? And honestly, it's like, if you didn't steal anything, then there's nothing to apologize about. If it's like you stole their lesson or you were authoritative telling them how to live their life, you might want to apologize for that. But that's about it. That's the only thing that might be worth it. So, yeah, the biggest sin is to steal someone else's lesson. Is that the biggest? I don't know. That was just a quote I heard, but it is kind of this in this realm of stealing. And then how do we be connected to that? And then once you start filtering everything through stealing, are you fully allowing that to alchemize and change you, right? Or it's like, no, I'm living a moral life. I feel good about my moral life. I'm connected to right or wrong. It's intuitively in me. And I also feel like this is kind of my whole wave of like, okay, when am I putting in myself in positions where I feel compromised? Because even in those positions, it's like I'm stealing something from myself then, right? And so I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think this is also part of like, okay, I'm living in alignment with natural law and I'm not stealing. And now my life is compounding in an upwardly spirally way. I believe there's something to all of that. Huh? Wait, does that make any sense? Or is that just a bunch of fancy spiritual mumbo jumbo to sound cool? I'm not sure. Morality. No, but I do feel like if you live moral, then yeah, because if you're not stealing, then this like karma is not like coming after you to be like, boof, right? And then how much of the karma is guilt or shame, right? Well, I don't think it kind of works like that, but it's like, it's not needed, right? Do not steal. It's like, and it makes sense. Like, if you steal, do you feel guilt or shame, right? And it's like, or do you only feel that when you get caught, right? And now this is like deeper. It's at the core of like, what is more like guilt, shame, self judgment? Where does this all come? I mean, you have to speak about these things with your ideas and beliefs about morality, because now judgment as well. It's like, all right, am I also judging others? Do I believe, like, and there's this whole thing, only God can judge me and everything, right? It's like, what, how true do you live that, right? And there's the whole Zen quote, right? Good, bad, who knows? So we have these judgments, and then but also we can't stop judging. So it's like, where is our judgment best at, and where do we need to let go of our judgment at? And I could say this is a greater game of discernment, and you're like, isn't that just a fancy way to say just judgment? And I'm like, aha, you're smart, one young Padawan. And they just validate your ego and just get out of Dodge. How do you handle guilt or shame? Me, awareness of it, and then just be like, we're done. All right, I'm doing this, and then the next thing is like, did you steal? Did you hurt anyone? Okay, let's like, all right, I catch the graffiti artist pouring salt in the wound, and then I like, they're running away, but I'm also like having a conversation. I'm like, why? Well, what would you have done differently? All right, what can you reflect on, right? Is this just, and I like to use hard or soft versus good or bad, right? And it's like, yeah, I might have been a little too hard there. Okay, awareness, check, boom, that's enough. I was already aware, okay, I was a little too hard there. It's like the next situation, because I had that failure or that experience didn't go ideally as I wanted it to. Now I'm going to modify a little bit. And it's like, that's going to happen automatically. Me guilting or shaming myself is not how the change happens. It just happens from the awareness and the felt sensation of like, that didn't go as much as I wanted it to go. That's really my belief on here. And I do somehow believe that like all of this is tied into morality. Like, is your morality rooted in objectivity or subjectivity, right? Oh, morality is relative, right? You get to decide for yourself what good or bad is. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like it is objective. And, I think Passio is onto something where it's like, the only two things are do not steal and do not kneel. And then you flip that, right? And it's kind of like, all right, I can't force anyone to do anything. That's like being this authority, right? And then don't steal, right? Don't take things away from people. So that aren't mine. So it's like, how do I create an environment? If you want to help someone, well, are they asking for it? Because you can't help someone who doesn't ask for help. That's just the fundamental law, right? And so, yeah. And also, all of this is like great advice to myself, because I'm continuing to make this game, this progress, right? Of like, all right, let me look at my stealing on a layer deeper. How often am I trying to change people and shooting them and trying to steal their lesson by being like, oh, just do this, just do that, right? Versus are they coming, are they coming from their own internal questioning? And that's really, I feel like, my next alchemization that I'm working towards as a communicator, right? Alrighty, so I'm gonna call that right here, and that was today's questions. And now tomorrow we start at 112, so 11% on my project here. Let's celebrate that. You get 1% better every day. Boom, let's go. All right, peace.